Our next session is a pre-recorded presentation by Adam Bassant, Logistics Director at Hovis, titled Empowering People, the Heart of Hovis Logistics. Adam will discuss how Hovis prioritizes employee development and well-being to create an inclusive, high-retention workplace. Let's roll the video from Hovis, one of our top inspired workplaces for this year. Enjoy.
Welcome and thanks for joining me as we take you through some of our stories from Hovis Logistics under the banner of Empowering People, the Heart of Hovis Logistics. Before we start, let me introduce myself. My name is Adam Bassant and I'm the Logistics Director for Hovis. I've been with Hovis for about 9 years now, however I have a 31-year history of working within logistics environments. I started my logistics journey as a picker in a warehouse many years ago, giving me great insight and empathy in how to engage, understand, and also develop large teams of people across multiple locations. Thanks to Inspiring Workplaces for inviting us to attend the PeopleFirst Global Summit. So just to bring Hovis to life, for those of you who are not based in the UK, Hovis is a UK-based national bread and bakery business. This is one of our most staple products. This is our soft white. And across our network, we do about 10 million loaves of fresh bread and bakery products to our customers. It's a big business and it's a very complex business. We've got over 130 years history in the UK of baking and milling, and we're a well-established bread brand on our customer shelves. So Hovis has got two sides to it essentially. You've got the manufacturing side, that's where they make the bread. I call it they make it, and then you've got my side, the logistics side, and we move it. So our manufacturing make it, logistics, we move it. To bring Hovis Logistics to life, it's a large operation, very complex. We operate across 7 sites all across the UK. We're also supported by some third-party partners in our more regional areas. Our people, we've got over 1,100 people, 600 of them are lorry drivers, and we operate 450 LGV vehicles, ranging from articulated vehicles all the way down to 7.5 tonne vans. On an average year, we do over 21,000 miles, and we have people working for us 24/7, 365 days a year. Hovis is a great business, got a great reputation, but I'm very passionate about everything we achieve, both in manufacturing, but also my area logistics is born out of our people. And now I'm going to take you through some of our ideas and thoughts of how we keep our 1,100 people motivated and inspired to make the magic happen every single day. So now the bit you've all been waiting for. How do we engage our 1,100 people? So we've created 5 pillars that I believe create meaningful and also sustainable engagement across our workforce. We call this a road to engagement in Hovis Logistics. 5 simple principles. Firstly, smart leadership. Number 2, create a vision. Number 3, honesty and transparency. Number 4, people development. And number 5, and perhaps most importantly, remember engagement is more than just a survey. So out of our 5 pillars, let me take you through our first pillar. Pillar 1, call that smart leadership. Always choose your leaders to suit your audience. In logistics, we've got a mix of 1,100 people ranging from lorry drivers with 30, 40 years experience, right down to warehousemen that have been here 4 or 5 months. But the one common thing they've all got is their people. Our leadership team are all what I call experienced logistics managers. They've come from the floor up, and by that I mean they were warehousemen, a bit like I was many years ago. They've been lorry drivers, they've been stock clerks, they've even been union stewards, some of our managers. But by choosing the right people to lead your operation, you've naturally created empathy with like-minded people, and you've got a common view because we've done the job that our people are doing. I'm a firm believer that we should recruit attitude over academic ability, certainly within a logistics environment. We've got vast training budgets, we've got plenty of resources within Hovis, but one thing I can't do is teach our leaders to be good leaders. Attitude is everything. If they've got the right attitude, they want to improve, they've got a people first mindset, we can teach them all the other stuff. Academic people, fantastic. They've got a big part in logistics. I'm not so sure they play a big part in frontline people management. People relate to people, not positions. It goes back to my first point about choosing your leaders to suit your audience. Be humble. In logistics, our people do probably 12-hour days mainly. Our lorry drivers out doing miles, they do over 35, 40 drops per day. They come back, they're tired. They want someone who understands their challenges, who's got an ear to listen to them and can help them improve. They don't need someone that's got a manager badge saying, you do as I say because I'm a manager. Big part of what we've built over the past 9 years in Hovis Logistics is let's not stand on parade. So even in my role as logistics director, you can often find me having a cup of tea and a chat with my colleagues across our 7 sites. I'm Adam first, I'm logistics director second. We have to ensure our leaders are credible. And by credible, I mean they have to be able to relate to our 1,100 people. They have to understand their frustrations. They have to understand the language that we talk a common language, speak to our people in the way that they speak to us. It builds attachment, it builds association, and it builds friendships and relationships that often endure outside of a working environment. So my last point, and I think it's something that you can all take something away from back to your respective jobs, is drive for a people first, manager second approach to leadership. People over position. If we get our people right, we're all human beings, we're all different, but people relate to people. People will always gravitate towards someone who treats them with respect, is humble, and is got lots and lots of humility. Make sure you go for people over position. So pillar number 2, I call create the vision. In Hovis Logistics, we have a very clear vision of where we want to go and how we're going to get there. Think about your people. They need something to believe in, be that you as a leader, be that the plan that you're going to share with them, or be that the business vision. People naturally want something to believe in. Creating a vision, create a plan, gives them an opportunity to support what you're trying to achieve. Think about the identity. We've got a very clear identity in Hovis because we've got a brand, as you see in the loaf that I showed you earlier. A brand and identity gives you purpose. It gives you a brand association, be that a business or a retail brand. And it gives you a uniform approach to how you approach the execution of your plan. I'm a big football fan. I support West Ham United. What makes 65,000 Londoners stand up, all sing the same song, all cheer the same team, all follow and chase the same ambition? That's the plan. That's the purpose. That's our identity. So think about your plan. Make sure you share your plan with everyone. Every colleague in your operation or organisation needs to understand the plan. Talk about your plan. Make sure your people know what you're trying to achieve. Share with what we need to do to achieve it. What part can they play in executing and achieving the plan? And finally, what happens when you win? What happens when you achieve your plan? How do you celebrate? Success becomes infectious. If we only talk to our people about the bad things, we'd always be in a negative mindset. Even if your win is small, talk about it. Make sure you sing when you win. So our third pillar is honesty and transparency. That must be a basic principle of being a people manager or people leader. Make sure you give your people an honest view of the world. They may not know how bad it is, they may not know how good it is. If we don't tell them the truth, they'll never be part of any solution. Make sure you keep your messages very, very simple. People respect transparency, and even if it's bad news, make sure you look them in the eye, treat them with respect, and tell them how it is. In my experience, they'd absolutely respect you for doing that. In life, certainly in logistics, we get many problems on a day-to-day basis. That's the nature of what we do. It's a very fluid operation. Never sit on a problem. I encourage all my team, if there's a problem, run towards it. That way you can address it head on, you can approach it with transparency, take an honest approach to it, and it normally works out as you'd expect it to. In Hovis, we use our a model that we call the 3E model. Quite simple, really. First one, educate. Make sure you educate your people. Number two, encourage. After the education, make sure that they understand it and make sure they apply it. Old habits are hard to break sometimes, and teaching new people new processes or new practices may be difficult. Make sure you encourage your people to achieve what you want them to achieve. Thirdly, if you have to, enforce the message. That can be taken many ways, but when you're having difficult conversations with your people, always be honest, never hide nothing, and treat them with respect at all times. So our fourth pillar is people development. Make sure you provide your people with an opportunity to progress. I'm hugely proud that 98 of our people have been promoted in their role over the past 3 years, and that varies across many jobs. We've taken radial drivers that drive a Class 2 rigid vehicle up to primary. We've taken warehouse staff who have been picking and packing. We pushed them on to be a team leader. We've even got transport managers that now are operation managers. One of our sites in London, I've got two of my senior managers at that site used to be lorry drivers and union stewards. We provided the path, we believed in them, we supported them, and then they're doing really good stuff for our business. When you do your promotion, never promote to incompetence. And what I mean by that is someone who's at the height of their current job will naturally go to the new job and be inexperienced and maybe a bit unsure what they're doing. When you promote, make sure you support them. That promotion is day one of their new journey, and as an employer, we need to make sure that we support our people to be the best they can be in that new role. I like to believe that people naturally want to be better. We should provide the pathway for them to improve, help them be the best version of themselves, and help generate that retention and that leadership talent pool that will take your business into the next generations. Look at me, as I said when we started, I'm living proof that logistics is a great place to grow. Make sure, as an employer and leaders, you provide your people with a pathway to be the best version of themselves. So our fifth and final pillar is engagement is more than a survey. Most of you watching today will do engagement surveys. Certainly at Hovis Logistics, we do 2 a year. We do a main survey and we do a mini pulse survey halfway through the year. But never forget, an engagement survey is a moment in time. It's a reflection of how people feel at the point they fill out that survey. I've had drivers that have got stuck in traffic in London for 4 hours. They come back, we give them a survey, and guess what? They've had a bad day. And anything that was positive could soon turn negative, and we get a distorted view of that driver's engagement levels within Hovis Logistics. I'm a great believer that whilst surveys are important, there's other metrics that we need to look at on a daily basis. I call these soft metrics of engagement. Think about your absence. What makes somebody get out of bed at 4:30 of a Monday morning in London in November when it's raining and it's cold? If you see a higher level of absence, potentially that person may be feeling a little bit disengaged with the workplace. He may not have the motivation to get out of bed at 4:30 and come into work. Productivity. Happy people are normally productive people, and we see that in our metrics as we go through our network warehousing operations. Make sure you keep close to people's productivity. Make sure you ask the question, are you okay? When productivity dips, make sure you ask the question. Make sure you understand what's driving that low productivity of that person. Speaking from a transport view, we've got 450 lorries. Damage. Do our drivers care? Do they drive their vehicle like they own it? Or do they knock wing mirrors off and have lots of low speed events? An engaged driver, one who feels part of the plan, feels part of the business, is more likely to drive his vehicle in a careful way. The idea generations from your managers, from your team leaders, from your colleagues, when that starts drying up, that's a big red flag to me. Engaged people want to improve, they want to feel part, they want to contribute. A disengaged employee may just sit there thinking, what's the point of this? Make sure you're proactive when you look at your soft metrics and keep close to the ones that are showing a decline. So now I've taken you through our 5 pillars of employee engagement that we deploy in Hovis Logistics. I want to share with you some key messages to take away. Firstly, ensure your managers are people focused and remain credible at all times. Give the people identity and purpose. Build it with them and build it for them. Be authentic. Clear adult conversations are much more effective than corporate buzzwords. Help your people be the very best version of themselves. Train and develop to retain talent for the future. Be proactive. Look for the warning signs outside of the annual survey. Remember, everything your business achieves is because of the people within. Thank you for listening today. I hope you found our session informative and you may have taken some ideas away that you can help generate more engagement within your own businesses. Thanks for Inspiring Workplaces for inviting me today to share my story of Hovis Logistics, and good luck in all you do with your people engagement.
Well, thank you so much to Adam for sharing his presentation and the 5 pillars of creating engagement at Hovis, and also bringing that very important message to the forefront of being people first in everything they do and the conversations and they're having with their employees. So that's a very important message. I think something that really stood out for me was the message about it's the attitude over aptitude, and the importance of staying human in leadership roles, and the importance of being relatable. And it is definitely something that we believe at Inspire Workplaces, and we want to shed a light on organizations that champion this approach as well. So thank you so much again, Adam, for sharing this inspiring story from one of our top Inspire Workplaces this year.